Stock of the Day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
As Mark Gardner very cheekily just commented, this stock was a large cap last week. It's back down to a small cap. Sort of a little mirth in his tone there. Stock of the day, Drone Shield. The defence contractor has completed its $120 million capital raise. Proceeds from the placement are due to be used in artificial intelligence R&D, according to a company statement. As the placement was restricted to institutional investors, there will be some dilution. And as the company re-entered trading this morning, its stock price is down 13% to $1.20. This stock has been all over the place. It's left psychological scars for a number of traders, one of which is Mark Gardner from NPC.
Yeah.
Mark, first of all, tell us about your experience of Drone Shield.
Well, look, this stock's gone from 80 cents to $2.50 back down. And look, I as a professional trader, I traded through the GFC, credit crisis, all sorts of the Japan meltdown, and the Nikkei equity indexes and things. So it usually takes quite a bit to get.
You've seen it all.
So it takes a bit to get me, feeling all that fear. But this stock, I swear, I've done fear, greed, FOMO, the whole works, and as you can see on the chart there, like all in the last 6 weeks, basically. Right. So this is one we have we've just got a short-term recommendation service, Alpha, which we bought at 80 cents, sold at $1.10, and then they had a cap raise. We were really stoked because we wanted to buy back in. We bought back into the cap price, resold again, and then at about $1.10, $1.20, and then it went to $2.50 over the next 2 weeks. And that's where that FOMO and frustration came in, because I watched it down. Viewers would be looking at it going, down 13%. That must be a horrible result. Like that's pretty much lately is the average range,
right?
For Drone Shield. So to the actual company, I do. They know how to market as well. Obviously, AI was just blazoned over the report this morning, which is always a good thing, I suppose, for sentiment. But look, there's geopolitical issues and a little bit of deglobalization happening at the moment in the world with things like BRICS. Obviously, you've got a bit of a circus going on, US elections, the right wings. So we're going to have some global uncertainty, let alone the Middle East. There was one of the Houthi drones that got through Israel's defences recently. These guys, it's sort of more from the ground, their initial product interrupting the signal, so not necessarily detection. So I think this will be, as you can see, it's been super high octane. Like it was over a $2 billion market cap.
So not for the faint-hearted investor.
No, but it's certainly not if you bought it at $2.50. Last week, 2 or 3 weeks ago. But overall, I think this is really good buying here at the moment, because I think the long-term prospects of this company are super solid. And if it
so good, you had a look at it. Good management team, good product.
Yeah, and I think there will be a need for it's not an enormous, it's not a submarine or I think where these got it's small spend for defence and equipping troops and it's not like a whole the dome system in Israel
or Hostel or
exactly. You're not building a navy ship. And look, and obviously they are integrating AI. They've got an R&D focus. Whether they can execute on that will probably be the determining factor of whether this continues to go beyond that $2 billion mark where it was a few weeks ago. But I think, down around here, this is sort of retesting the old highs around about that 110 level. So from a technical standpoint, there's a fair bit of support. The fact that they didn't ever have to go to the retail or the existing shareholders was just an instant placement and got filled pretty quickly. Look, I think you've got to ignore the fact that when it went on that run, there was obviously a big order in the market. It's a very thin stock. It just pushed it up. Yeah. The moment that buying stopped, I think it dropped nearly 35% the following day. So That's just a broker really badly executing an order, a large order. So I think down around here where these old highs are is really good support to be buying. But
and the extra capital on the market will make it more liquid.
And it's really gotten on people's radars now. Obviously with that rally, but they've won some contracts and things as well. So I say spec buy in terms of allocation size, rather than I'm pretty confident this one will continue to do well because I think the theme will do very, very well. But you just don't
be wary.
Way less than 3% of your portfolio probably, because it will. It is highly, highly volatile.
Okay. Daniel, what do you think of DroneShield?
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a contrast between traders and investors, isn't it, Kochie? Because my line of thinking would be trying to understand the financials of the business, looking at the pipeline. They had a quarterly update recently, which wasn't well received, and that's because it kind of brings you back to earth, looking at the recent financial performance relative to the excitement in the company, and a lot of that valuation is obviously in the future of the company. It's very clear to realize that. But look, I mean, even in their current pipeline, they talk about $1 billion pipeline, but only around 200 million is kind of actively at least engaged with those defense providers. So it still just looks a bit rich to me. There's one thing that people hate more than losing money, and that is, as Mark has mentioned, seeing other people make money. So it can cause that huge FOMO effect. The best thing you can do is, if you don't know, don't buy, just stay out and wait, because you're going to be prone to making a blunder. So my view is, look, we don't know the business, the industry well enough to be informed about the future value of this company. Let's just sit on the sidelines and watch the story play out, because look, it can double in a week, but as we've seen, it can halve in a couple. So let's just sit in the sidelines from our view and see how it progresses over time.
Okay, all right.
One good tactic I heard Claude Walker use quite often is he just when something's on his radar, he'll buy a really small portion.
Yes,
just so it's sort of he can
focuses his attention.
Exactly.
That's always on his watch list.
And that's another tactic you can use too, because if you're interested in the company and you don't buy now and it starts to go back up, you will be prone to it. But even if you've got like a couple, you don't have to buy a hell of a lot, but even the tiniest of parcels, having it on is like it will help your headspace and not chase.
Sort of buy 1,000.
Whatever, like it doesn't,
whatever. Super.
Enough that you don't ignore it. Enough that if it does, because Daniel's absolutely right. Like this is you're betting on the long term future of it.
Yep.
There's no concrete guarantees here.
All right. Okay.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.